Hello Trekkies and welcome back with another video of TREKKERPRISE. Well, today we're going to talk about the 6th episode of the Orville, the episode titled Happy Refrain. So after watching this episode I kind of came to the conclusion that I thought after the first episode that Nothing Left on Earth Excepting Fishes, they can't really top what they did there, but actually they could, and they did, because this episode was absolutely fantastic. Both me and my wife have been watching it together, and it's kind of became a ritual now, and we so much enjoying the Orville, much better than Star Trek Discovery. We did watch Star Trek Discovery, the latest episode, together, and then watched the Orville, and then wow, this is actually energizing and engaging, so I really enjoyed myself. We both really enjoyed ourselves watching this episode, and this episode kind of became our absolute favorite in so far in season 2. This episode starts out with Bortus's mustache request. As it turned out, the Mocklans usually cannot really grow facial hair. Kind of interesting to actually have this established as well on screen. Dr. Finn managed to actually throw a mustache onto Bortus's face that, well, left everyone with laughter. He looked great, but I couldn't think of anyone else than Tom Selleck from Magnum P.I., and I've kind of thought like this could be a running joke like Bortus P.I. That would be actually hilarious. So it was really interesting to see this side of Bortus and Clyden's relationship, and then no one really was really happy of that. You know, like you look ridiculous, but actually you look like a kind of police chief or even anger from the inside out. So he had a really interesting facial changes in this episode that it was just adorable. Obviously the main theme of this episode was Isaac and Dr. Finn. They kind of got together, and they kind of, you know, Dr. Finn started to have feelings towards Isaac ever since they crash landed in the planet in the first season. So they kind of became the part of each other's life, and they kind of, you know, had interactions every day on a daily basis, and Dr. Finn started to develop feelings towards Isaac. Until the point when actually she asked out Isaac for a date. Isaac, not knowing anything but seeing the potential how to, you know, engage more with humanoid beings, he actually executed this with a really mature and logical way. He actually surprised many of us, not just because of his ingenious way of how to executing a date, but also how to make it possible to Claire to enjoy this interaction a bit more. So he decided to create himself a holographic body. The hologram turned out to be the actor who plays Isaac, Mark Jackson. We both freaked out and we both super excited, because seeing Isaac is one thing and we fell in love with him from the very first episode, but seeing Mark Jackson playing Isaac and being Isaac without the makeup, that's just something extraordinary, and we did enjoy every moment of it. And I couldn't look at him as he's Isaac, but he's not, and it was a really weird experience, but it was a really weird and really good experience. Absolutely loved this episode. This was just something absolutely amazing to see the real actors who gave the voices for these characters. We didn't just get to see Isaac in this episode as the real actor like Mark Jackson. We got to see Norm Macdowell as well, who gives the voices to Yaphet. So it was really interesting to see him as well as in a human form, and then himself, not just as a green blob. But obviously going back to Claire and Isaac, it was really interesting to see their relationship developing in a way. They attending a concert together. Isaac wanted to be spontaneous, so he showed up with a cake at the middle of the night. Well, and also when he finalized the data and he finalized his research, he wanted to get off, you know, Claire, but with humans it's not really easy, so he kind of went to Gordon and Lamar. Best choice ever. On the result of that conversation, he turned up in Claire's cabin with this very disgusting underwear and t-shirt, and pretending that he's like an alcoholic and he's just a demanding guy who wants his dinner in the table. Obviously Claire, being so clever and wise, she did see this through, and then she actually got the picture that, hey, you're gonna broke up with me. And then Isaac kind of figured this out. Obviously everyone made Isaac to think a bit more what he did. And funny enough, I think this was the first episode when we got to see Isaac's emotional side, even though he was thinking as a computer and he's thinking as a program and machine, but he had some emotion in this episode which is just absolutely amazing to experience with him in this episode. So at the end he apologized and he made it up to Claire, and he realized that okay, he cannot function without Claire and without Claire in his life. So the episode itself concluded in a really happy way, that they went back to the holodeck, and then Isaac brought up his Mark Jackson suit, and you know, this follows in the next episode, but they're probably gonna be together. But it's really interesting to see that finally the two got together, and Isaac kind of understood that, hey, I need this girl, I need this woman to be in my life, because otherwise my life would be just a misery. A little behind the scene fact for the end of this episode. I did not notice at the beginning when I was watching it, but at the end of the episode, when the bridge started, when it started raining in the bridge, obviously the whole bridge got like flooded, and you can see the you can see the crewmen are getting wet, and then the consoles are getting wet, and then basically the bridge is getting wet. And I was like, they should not do that. I mean, that's just silly. Like, there's basically a carpet floor in there. Plus, it will be disgusting for the next episode for sure. So a couple of guys who actually works on the Orville, they posted a few pictures on Twitter recently. They actually filmed every single personnel in front of a green screen, and they put the whole scene together. Well, if you really look closely, you can see that there's some fizzes going around in the edges of where the people are sitting, but they really fooled me. That was one of the best green screen effects so far that I've seen, and I'm just really glad that they didn't ruin the carpet in the bridge. So that was it for today, guys. That was my quick review for the 6th episode of the Orville Season 2, the Happy Refrain. I'm really looking forward to have a discussion with you. Please let me know in the comment section below what did you like about this episode, what was your favorite or least favorite moment in this episode. As always, thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to receive all the geekiness every week. And until next time, live long and prosper.